All right. All right, so I decided to analyze the Notorious B.I.G. and its lyrics in regards to rhetorical appeals. Here, let me check my notes real quick. So, imagery was a big one. He constantly was trying to provide this image of one, his initial struggle before he started to pop off and become successful. But he also provided imagery to a luxurious lifestyle. He talked in a specific lyric. He said, "Putting carrots in my baby, 5 carrots in my baby girl's ear, things of that nature." Interviews by the pool. Like, he was trying to highlight the difference between his struggle growing up and where he was at now as a songwriter. Um, he did make the second one was an allusion to societal expectations. He talked about how he dropped out of high school and people perceived him as a failure or a fool, is what he said in the song. Yeah, I mean, I think it is a societal expectation that if you drop out of high school that you're just considered unintelligent, not going to be a success. He uses this to highlight that even if you haven't completed high school, that there's still hope because he obviously did it, right? Um okay, so that's my rhetorical appeals. Oh, no, I got that all mixed up. Okay, I'm gonna provide like a little edit. Those are my literary terms. I guess it doesn't really matter the order that I go in. But okay, I'm aware those are literary terms. In regards to rhetorical appeals, pathos, an emotional appeal. He, again, is. I feel like the message he's trying to send to people is, hey, I struggled really hard when I was growing up, but I was able to succeed and follow through with my goal. He creates pathos by making very detailed examples of the things that he went through as a kid. Sardines for dinner, multiple lines in regards to his childhood and how it was rough. And he also uses ethos because he needs to provide credibility. If you're going to make a message like, hey, you can succeed too, for some of these people, it's kind of hard to relate to the writer because maybe they were already well off to begin with, or they started in a higher status, so they were never really at a struggling point. People can relate to him because he was struggling. He knows what it's like to struggle to go from nothing to something, and that provides credibility to his claim. Shifts. I know I'm kind of sounding like a broken record here, but struggle to success. Like, at first, it's like talking about the things that he needed to go through. It is so cold in my room. He was talking about things that he needed to go through. And then he starts like building upon this luxurious lifestyle that he's got going on. But the more interesting one, in my opinion, was the personal to communal. At first, it's all about him, what was going on in his life, both past, present. But then you see a switch in the chorus that's talking to the audience, saying that, like, you know very well who you are, blah, blah, blah. Insinuating that, like, they can also follow their goals and achieve what they're trying to do, because if I can do it, so can you. And, yeah. Alright, I just realized that I completely missed the second part of this. So I'm just gonna attach this to my original video that I did. So the first question, how is this process similar to how we analyze literature? I think it's very natural when anyone reads literature to try and relate to it somehow. Like, can you put yourself in the author's shoes and understand what they're talking about? How does it apply to your own life? So when we look for rhetorical appeals, we're looking for how the author is sending their message and can we personally relate to it. And the way we do this is through things like pathos, ethos, logos. Literary terms these are tools in a writer's toolbox to spread their message. And the more tools that you use and the stronger that they are, the more powerful your message is going to be. My biggest takeaway from this process, I'm actually going to relate this just directly back to the song. I'm not gonna, so I had this song in my playlist, but I didn't really listen to any of his other songs, but I understand why he was so popular. For someone, if you're struggling, I'm sure it's incredibly easy to, I mean, I've struggled myself. Like, if it's easy to get into this thing, I'm not going to amount to anything. And societal expectations kind of lead you to believe that same thing. Like, you're never going to amount to anything. You're dumb. You're a failure, blah, blah, blah. But here he is. He's giving this message like, hey, I struggled. I went through all the same societal expectations that you did, and I'm still, now look at me, look at how much of a success I am. And for some people, it's like, oh, he's flaunting. I think he's a beacon of hope for a lot of people. A lot of people are in the position that he was in, and instead of being down in the dumps thinking, oh, I'll never amount to anything, they look at him as living proof that it's possible. And that's all people really need, just a beacon of hope. So yeah, and this process, it was really nice. I think when you're listening to a song, you're not really thinking of the rhetorical appeals, the literary terms being used, but by just kind of like changing your perspective a little bit, you're able to get a lot more out of the song. And I'm sure now, when I hear this song, I'm going to be thinking about it a lot more deeply. So thank you for providing the ability to like talk about it. I prefer talking over writing any day. But yeah, that's the end of it. Thank you.